Hello, well watchers, and welcome back to the Divine Well. In today's reading, we're going to be doing a reading about the energy focused around going back to school. So given that it's August and everybody, well, not everybody, but a lot of people are going back to school or starting school for the first time, I thought it would be fun to do a reading about the energy that's based around that and kind of give you some insight on what to expect for this school year, maybe some areas to focus on and potential challenges that you may have to overcome this year. So I'm going to be using like the same tarot deck for each of the spreads. Each of the cards that I'm going to use first, these cards here, I'm going to use to kind of signify the theme for this year. So what does the energy overall kind of look like for you? And then we'll get into a couple of more specifics. So even though I'm making this video here in August, just remember this is going to be a timeless reading. So if you happen to watch it like later on in the year, it's totally possible that these messages can still resonate. So you can watch it whenever you want, but then again, just remember that this is a general reading. So if you're not feeling very connected to the pile or the spread when it first starts after the first couple of cards, that's a sign that it's probably not the reading for you. So you can go ahead and check the timestamps in the description and try another one of the piles readings and see if that one is a little bit more connected with your energy, or go ahead and check out another reading on my channel because that may be a better video for you. So, all right, but we're gonna get into it. So we have our 3 cards here, and then each card is aligned with a particular stone. So for the card / pile number 1, we are going to be using the optical calcite. And then for pile number 2, we have the lepidite. And then for pile number 3, we have the citrine. So I will give you a moment, guys, go ahead and pick your piles and then just check the description box for the timestamp for each pile, and I will see you in your reading. Hello, pile number 1, and you guys have chosen the optical calcite gem. All right, so we are gonna go ahead and get into it. So the energy of the school year, some things that you can expect maybe coming up, some things to focus on, and maybe some potential blockages, and we'll see what Spirit wants you to know about this school year coming up. So go ahead and flip over our first card. What is the theme for this year? All right, and we have Queen of Pentacles. Okay, so kind of what's coming up for me is using your environment to your advantage. I really am not yet sure what that's supposed to mean, but that's the sentence that kind of comes up. So I feel like for those of you in this pile, you have an opportunity this year to really utilize your environment. So whether that's like school or, I mean, it's probably your school. For some of you, that's like your college. For some of you, it could just be like regular high school. But I'm getting the sense that you have a lot to gain from where you're going to be type of situation. So for those of you that may be like starting college, I definitely think you picked the right college, you picked the right university. So good for you. I definitely think that you have an opportunity to take advantage of a lot of things around you. So there's definitely gonna be a lot of like resources, you're just gonna have access to a lot of things in your environment that you can utilize to move yourself forward, or to, like build yourself up, empower yourself to take that next step in life, or to move forward in your education. So I get the sense that like the environment that you're going to be around is very much going to complement the path that you're on. So you definitely have picked a good school, picked a good university. If those of you are going to college, or if you guys are still in high school, you know, your current university, or not university, your current high school, it's going to have a lot to offer you this year in terms of, you know, like leveling up in yourself and leveling up in your life. So, okay, that's interesting, but that's how I'm kind of feeling about the theme or the overall energy of this year. I just think that you really have an opportunity to use your environment to your advantage. So just keep that in mind as we move forward. Okay. So Spirit, what can help pile number one this year? What resources, I guess, since we're focusing on their environment, what type of resources do they have available to them? What is going to be helpful? What around them will be helpful? Let's see. Oh, okay. So definitely people. That's interesting. Okay. For a lot of you, that's interesting. For a lot of you, I think you're gonna meet like some really good friends this year, or like the friendships that are continuing maybe are just going to really serve a purpose for you this year. So I'm really getting with this card, like leaning on people, the people around you, making sure that you give adequate care and support to like your social life. That's interesting. I wonder why that is coming up. I just think that whatever you're going to go through this year, you're definitely going to utilize the people around you. For some of you, this could be like you're going to get like a really special mentor this year. So if you're entering into some type of mentor relationship, then it's possible that your mentor is really going to serve you well and help guide you as you move through this process this year. For others of you, that like mentor type of figure, like so teachers, maybe a coach, I feel like it does have to do somewhat with either your really close friends or like a mentor type of figure. So that being like teachers, coaches, people who would fill that role of like someone you're looking to for guidance. So if you don't already know who that person is, you're definitely going to meet them this year, or people. So I think you have an opportunity to learn from the people around you. But for some of you, I'm getting very specifically like you're going to come in contact with a mentor this year. And again, that can take the form of like a mentor title, a teacher, a coach, maybe like an older classmate who's going to help guide you along as you maybe go into university for the first time. But someone or multiple people are going to be showing up in your life this year, and they're going to help move you through the process of this year. So for those of you who might be like starting college for the first time, somehow, some way, I'm not sure if like you're going to have the opportunity to like sign up for some type of mentorship program, or maybe you're already involved in a program and a mentor is going to be like handed to you. So like sometimes say you're entering like graduate school for the first time, and maybe your program, the students who are like second or third years serve as mentors for the first years. That's kind of coming up for me. So I definitely think if you are like worried or nervous about how this year is going to go, you are going to have someone or multiple people to lean on to help move you forward. So don't be too scared if you're kind of worried. This is kind of giving me though like freshman in college type of energy, or like first year of grad school, like kind of stepping into, just with the emphasis on the environment, I just kind of feel like stepping into a new environment. And I do get a feeling of like anxiety or worry with this. So I think you might be a little bit nervous to be starting school, or if you have already started, you know, you're still kind of in those like first few days or weeks, like nerves. But I think it's going to be okay, because you're going to have some help, and someone's going to come and they're going to help guide you along through this process. So don't be too nervous. Someone, if they haven't already shown up, they are going to show up, and they're going to be a very, very helpful resource for you. So yeah, you're definitely going to have someone that you can lean on. Okay, so what are some of the projects or goals for this year that pile 2 can get some insight on? What are they going to be working on this year? Is it going to be more of a personal goal, or more of a like educational goal? Let's see. Okay. 2 cards came out, so I'm going to use both of them. Okay, that's interesting. We have the Nine of Cups and then also the Page of Cups. Yeah, so again, I am connecting with that like freshman in college or like first year in college. For some of you, you might even be going back to school. So like if you maybe like if you didn't go to college like right after high school, or and maybe you took some time off, or if you have waited a while to kind of come back to school for like grad school or something, or if you took a break from college and now you're deciding to go back and finish, I do feel just that it's really the goal for you, I think, is to just, I don't think there's like a specific like educational goal at this point. I think it's kind of more so like you just hope that you're going to make it and hope that you're going to survive like this experience. Again, that anxiety is kind of coming up for me, the worry of like, how is this going to go? Are things going to go well? I'm not really sure. I'm stepping into something that is a little bit uncomfortable. I just have no idea like how things are going to go for me. But again, like coming back to the first theme, like I think you picked a really good place. Like you are in probably the best place to be as it relates to where you are in life right now. So it's definitely scary to like try new things or start new things or to be in unfamiliar environments and spaces. But I do think that you have the, like this is going to be a good like fulfilling experience for you. Because I think, again, I'm just getting like that worry about like, I don't know how this is going to go. Am I going to fit in? Am I going to make friends? Am I going to do well in school? You know, I really do feel like that is the worry there. And I think that your goal is really to just, I mean, to do as well as you can, you know, to get in there, like become richer for the experience, you know, to really like take this environment or this part of your life for like all it's worth, you know. Though you are nervous, that hasn't stopped you from like jumping in, and that in itself is a really good thing to be proud of, because some of you, it's coming up for me that some of you are pretty far from home. So maybe you picked a college out of state, maybe you picked a school that's pretty far away, and it's just very, very new, but like still exciting, but also scary. And so I think like, I don't know, I'm not getting like a very specific like goal. I'm just getting like, I just want to have a good year. I just want this year to go well. I just want to, you know, take advantage of everything that it's worth for this year. So, I mean, I think that's a perfectly fine energy to be in, especially if you are entering like that first year, you know, or like coming back to school. You know, you have to feel things out. You have to get like a good handle on the experience kind of, or what's going on before, you know, you kind of settle into like your specific goals for what you want. You know, some of you may have specific goals, but I'm really only getting like the general feeling of I just want this year to go well. So, I mean, that makes total sense. Okay, so let's see, what if anything, Spirit, does this viewer need to know about releasing? Is there anything that needs to be healed and released this school year? Anything, any emotional baggage that we're bringing that it's time to move on from? Let's see. What baggage is it time to heal up and release this year? Okay, yeah. So with the Tower, I'm just kind of getting like, again, this is giving me like first year in college, first year going back type of vibe. So if this is not like your first year, or if you're not like starting in a new environment this year, then this probably is not the pile for you. Because with the Tower here, I'm not even like, usually the Tower to me, when I see it, I usually associate it with some type of sense of like wanting to have control on a situation, but the situation is just too chaotic, too crazy. There's too many factors that you don't have control over for you to actually like have a handle on it. And I think it's interesting. I think that maybe before, like in high school, maybe some of you were like very, very studious and very like got really good grades, did really, really well. You know, school was never really something that you had to like really think too much about because you were pretty good at it. And I kind of feel like that's what you need to let go of. Let go of who you were as a student in the previous school experience. So if you were in high school and you're going to college, let go of that. If you had been were in college for a little bit, but then you stopped and took a break, like you need to release yourself from like that experience in order to focus on the now. Or if you were, you know, moving on from college to like grad school, or undergrad to grad school, I just get the sense that I don't know. I just think that if you're too kind of tied to who you were then, that might distract a little bit from like who you can become. I know like we're still in the beginning of the year here, so that may or may not like make sense right now. If it does, great. But if it doesn't, that's okay too. That may be something that resonates a little bit later for you. Because I don't know, I just feel like, for some of you, you might need to break up with your like significant other that you were dating in high school or in the previous experience. That just randomly came up. So if that resonates for you, definitely take that. If it doesn't, like don't, but that might be very specific for someone. Like trying to take a old relationship into like your new life just might not be in your best interest. Yeah, so I guess like, and even like friendships too, because I also just kind of feel like if you're looking backwards too much, you know, it's going to distract from what's happening like in front of you and what's going on forwards. So for me, I'm really connecting this tower energy with like, yeah, what happened in the past. I think you need to kind of let that go, release it. And I don't mean like just cut off your friends or like cut off your significant other or something. I don't think anyone's gonna break up with their significant other just because they watch this video. Like, come on. But I do think that if you start to notice that like it's not working out anymore, it's probably just because you're transitioning, moving into a new phase of life, you know? There's new people that are gonna come. And so just if things, like say you start having problems with like your old friends or you start having problems with like your old significant other, the situations will speak for themselves, you know, like this is your life. But I do think that it's possible that the thing that you'll need to release is kind of those like old relationships, those old like people. Yeah, that's really all that's coming up for me is kind of like the relationships and people, but also like just the simple energy of don't be too tied to who you were because it can distract from who you are now. So another thing that's kind of coming up is if you say like you stopped going to school for a while and now you're back, maybe you didn't have the best time before, and maybe like say that's one of the reasons why you left is because school wasn't going well. I think now you have an opportunity for things to go really well. You know, like the energy has shifted. You're in a new space. And so I think that don't be too like freaked out about like what happened before and like how you dealt with it before, because I think this experience is going to be completely new. And again, you're going to be in an environment where you have like so many things around you are there to like help you and serve you and empower you to moving up, to leveling up into the next phase of life, into the next like, you know, stage of your character, you know, what have you. So just don't be too focused on the past. It's just, I think like look forward. It's just about like looking forward, paying attention to the present, not getting too caught up in like what happened before. That's just kind of how I feel about that. So take it as it resonates. Okay. But what should this person watching Spirit, what should they focus on this year? What should be a good focus for them? Two of Wands. Interesting. I think you have the opportunity to create. I think you're gonna find like your passion again. Or if not again, like you're going to find out what that is like this year. Like, so if you're not already sure about like what you're passionate about, like maybe as far as like what do you want to go to school for, you know, what is the thing that you really want to do after you complete school, what is, you know, all that. I think that if you're unsure about what that is right now, so like maybe you're going in like with a major, but you're not really sure if that's really the major for you, you know, or maybe like you're going in undecided. If that's the case, and that's like kind of more undergrad energy, so these are just for my undergrads here, or this part of the message is just for my undergrads, but I kind of feel like if you don't feel like you are 100% sure right now about the direction that you're going in, then I think that you will by the end of the year. You know, some of you may have to change majors, you know, like once, maybe even twice. That's okay. It is what it is. Like me personally, I changed my major, I had 3 different majors in undergrad, and now I'm going to grad school for something that had nothing to do with any of them. So, you know, like, well, not nothing. I'm not going to say that, but I mean, not directly, you know. So, you know, things can happen. I think just be open to the different possibilities. Don't put yourself in a box as far as like what you're going to study, what direction you're going to go in, because you may find something. I mean, you're going to have a lot like available to you. You're going to be exposed to a lot this year. So it's possible that something else may catch your interest, you know? So I'm kind of getting with this card, like, don't be too tied to the path that you are either like really set dead on right now, you know, because something else may come that like really lights a fire underneath you. And for those of you who like are on the grad school track and you're like actually going to school for something specific, you may kind of, you know, like narrow down on like, oh, okay, like what is like my specialty going to be within this like field. I'm really like, you're going to get more in touch with, you know, a more specific direction like underneath that umbrella of whatever. So I don't know, say example for some of you, if you're like going to med school or something, maybe you'll decide like you'll really fall in love with like, I don't know, working or learning about like the brain, or like learning about the bones, or learning about the muscles, you know. So maybe you're going to kind of start focusing more on like being like a neurosurgeon or like a cardiologist, you know, or, you know, something like that. Or, you know, I watched Grey's Anatomy, so I know a little bit about med stuff. But yeah, I think this is more about just like, if you're tied to a path right now, it's possible that your interests could get like that much more specific, or you could change your mind. Or if you're very unspecific right now about the direction that you're going in, that's okay, because you're going to find it. With the overall energy that I'm getting with this card is kind of just like be open. So just be open to all the possibilities, be open to all the information. Again, you're going to be surrounded by a lot in your environment that's going to serve to empower you. So utilize what you have available to you, because it's going to help put you in the direction of what you're really going to be passionate about, and what you're really going to feel like, oh, I know I need to be in school. Like, I feel good about being here because I'm doing this thing. You know, I care about this so much and I want to pursue this. So yeah, just stay open. Don't be too tied to one specific path, because you're going to be exposed to a lot. Give everything like the same level of chance. You know, because if you're too focused on one thing, you might miss just how great you could be at something else, or how great like you could be at a different path or a different specialty, you know. Just be open. That's how I kind of feel. Being open to all possibilities is the thing to focus on. Focus on what you encounter, how it makes you feel, and, you know, if it sparks passion, like pay attention to that, because that's going to be important. But okay, so what is anything like upcoming that pile 1 should know about, Spirit? What is an upcoming thing that pile 1 should know about? Oh, we have Temperance. So again, with this, I'm kind of getting the like, don't be too tied to one specific thing just yet, because you're going to be exposed to so many things. And it's even possible that for some of you, like, it's not going to be just by the end of this year that you really like cement the path that you're on moving forward. But like, don't be too committed to one thing or the other. It's just about staying open and being an explorer. That's how I feel about it. Like this year, I think the energy that's coming in for you is like explorative energy. Like, you know, try this cup and that one and that one and that one, you know, like get a good idea of how that experience is. Like, what does that feel like? Get really in touch with like the things that you encounter. How do they make you feel? How do you respond? You know, because I just have the feeling that you're going to encounter a lot of different things this year, and so you have the opportunity to like kind of fall in love with a lot of different things. And I'm talking about like academically, not like with other people. This is more of an academic type of message, I feel like. Yeah. Staying open, not being too committed. And for some of you, I'm not sure if you're going to be in a situation where like they like want you to commit like early on. I don't know. So maybe you have to like commit to a certain major like right now or something in order to like graduate on time, you know, or like maybe you need to commit to a certain path like right now because you need to take a certain level of classes in order to get like to the next step or something in this phase or whatever. And again, take this as it resonates, because I don't want you to make some like super rash decision just because you watched this reading. You know, I think you need to get in touch with yourself always. Like, yourself knows, not this reading. This reading is just to help, just give a little bit more insight about like the possible energy that exists, you know, with your life. So, yeah, so if you are in that situation where like something like you are expected to kind of commit a little bit more, if you're feeling unsure about it, there could be a reason for that. And the reason being that you still just want to, you know what else is available to you. So yeah, I don't know, like, good luck with that, whatever you do decide to do for those of you who are in that situation. But I do think that it would be probably a good idea to just not commit to anything too serious right now, as far as like, I don't know, really just anything. Like, again, you're going to be surrounded by a lot. You have the opportunity to go in a lot of different directions. So if it's like your first year of school and you're thinking about one path and one thing, and that's what you're dead set on, I think there's a potential for things to go a different way. And something else that will be even probably more satisfying than what you're thinking about right now. For some of you, when you're listening to this, you're thinking like, oh, thank God, because you're not actually really passionate about what you chose. So yeah, for those of you who are feeling that way, I think that, yeah, something else, you're going to end up figuring out what it is that is actually going to like move you through, you know? So yeah, don't freak out too much. Not too much. Okay, so what are some like potential blocks or maybe challenges that pile 1 could encounter this year, Spirit? What's a challenge that could happen for pile 1? Oh, I'm gonna go ahead and pick. Sorry, I just got a little distracted, so I had to pause and regroup, but here we are. Okay, so 6 of Wands. So yeah, so 6 of Wands. We're talking about like balance, harmony, passion. I just kind of feel like for some of you, you're put in a position rather than choosing it for yourself. So if, say, like, for example, I want to say that, like, maybe you're pursuing a certain path because, like, that's what your family, like, encouraged you to do, or somebody in your life encouraged you to do. I don't know, though, how you actually feel about it. So I think being able to kind of differentiate between, like, what you want and what other people want for you is something that's kind of coming up for me. And I think that right now it might kind of seem like, oh, okay, like, I can do this thing and, like, I'll be happy, you know, it'll make my family happy and everything will be good. Maybe you're kind of unsure about what you would do otherwise, so it's just like whatever to pick this path. But I don't know if that's going to be the path that, like, really, like, makes you the happiest at the end of the day. So this is not for everybody, but this is, I feel like, for those who might just kind of be thinking that whatever they're doing, whatever you're doing, if it's not based in, like, what you actually want, then I think that's another reminder for you to stay open, you know, because I think the challenge for you is going to be, like, listening to other people versus listening to yourself. And I think you need to get in touch with, like, what is going to make you happy, what is going to make you feel balanced, what is going to make you feel harmonious within yourself. And if the path that you're on right now is not making you feel that way, then that is probably a sign that it's not the path for you. But then again, you have to differentiate between, like, is that what I'm actually feeling, or is it me being nervous and anxious about the situation as a whole? You know what I'm saying? So maybe that, like, nervous, anxious energy is kind of getting in the way of you being able to tell between what you actually want to do versus maybe what somebody else wants you to do. So to take that as it resonates. I just kind of feel like, yeah, the challenge is going to be, again, for some of you, listening to other people versus listening to yourself. And for some of you, it's going to be, like, trying to make it happen when it's not going to happen, you know? So again, like, sticking to a path that you're not feeling like is good, you're not feeling, like, harmonious about, just because it's, like, makes you feel safe. For some of you, you're going to choose safety over, like, actually being passionate about something. And I got to tell you, of course, it's good to want to feel safe, you know? I mean, everybody wants that, but I don't feel like that's going to make you the happiest in the long run. So just keep that in mind. If you have the resources to be able to explore, to try out different things, to figure out what it is that really makes your heart sing, that's what you need to do. Don't just stay on this path for convenience, you know, or just because it makes you feel safe, you know. I mean, safety is a good feeling, but I mean, what is life without risk? You know, you got to try things out. You have to figure things out, you know, because you're actually not going to feel as empowered overall at the end of the day if you, like, always play it safe, you know. Sometimes you gotta, like, figure things out for yourself, and the only way to do that is through, like, experience. So I just think that if you're kind of, like, very tied to a path right now for whatever reason, ask yourself the question of, like, do I really want this? And if the answer is anything other than an absolute yes, then be open to other options. Because even an I don't know, it's not a no, but it's also not a yes, you know? So maybe whatever you're going to experience this year, it can bring you closer to this path, and you'll actually have more clarity about why you want to do this, you know? But if you're feeling unsure, like, explore what that is, you know? Why are you feeling unsure? What else would you maybe want to try? What else would you maybe want to do? You know, so just think about that. That's kind of, like, how I feel, but take it as it resonates. All right. And then what spirit is something special or a talent or an ability that pile 1 has? It's going to be really useful to them this year. What is it? Talent or ability that's going to be very useful for them this year. Queen of Swords, another queen. Interesting. Okay, so I feel like you are such a good thinker. Very, very logical, very, very logical person. You're very much able to like look at a situation, look at the beginning, look at the end, and like be able to make sense of it all the way through. Definitely a good thinker. However, I do feel like this can be a little bit of an issue for you because you're the kind of person who likes to have a well thought out plan, and while that is a good thing in a lot of different ways, I think that's one of the things that could maybe be contributing to all of this, so like you may not be as open to like a path that you don't have like all the way worked out in your head and your mind, the beginning, middle, and the end. It can be probably really hard for you to kind of sit in the unknown, maybe. For some of you, I feel like it could be kind of hard for you to sit in the unknown or to take that risk because like, again, it's unknown. You like to make logical decisions. You like to make sound decisions, So while again, this is like a really good trait for you to have, I do think that for you this year, it's going to be about knowing like, okay, when is this being used to my advantage and when is it potentially a detriment, So just keep that in mind as you kind of move forward through this year because it's going to serve you well academically. I think you're probably going to do pretty well academically, but right now, just know when that is a good skill to lean on and when it could be a potential like block for you, but again, like very logical thinker, very perceptive person, able to see like multiple sides of the coin, able to see like the gray and the black and white, you use your mind to your advantage and not your detriment is kind of what I want to say, Okay, yeah. So, and just to close it all out, Spirit, any last advice for pile number 1 as we go forward? Last advice for the year, anything that they should know? Okay, there's the card. Interesting. And we have the 4 of Swords. So again, coming back to that like foundational energy, traditional energy, Swords is air energy, so I'm talking about knowledge and perspective and awareness, and I feel like this is connecting again back to the don't be too tied down to one specific path. Be open. Be open to things just happening a little bit differently than you planned. Yeah, because for some of you, there's gonna be a big shift this year. Just with the Tower card, like you can expect big shifts, And I think that you're kind of going to I don't know, I just think that you could see a really big difference in yourself from the beginning of the year to the end, which I know is not like revolutionary information. I understand that, but I do think that there can be a lot of changes in like the way you think about your situation as far as how you're going to move forward. So again, for those of you, it's just really coming up for me that like what you thought you were going to do is probably not where you're going to end up. And again, for some of you, it's going to be like even further solidifying this path. So yeah, again, like the overall energy for the whole thing, in my opinion, be open. You're going to have the environment that you're going to be in is going to throw a lot at you. You're going to get like a lot of different opportunities, a lot of resources, a lot of different, things that can potentially serve you. So you just have to be open to the experience, be open to what you can encounter, you know. And don't, again, like, don't be too tied to one path, because it is possible that things can change. And even for like the grad school example, like say you're dead set on like one specialty, but then you find something else, and then it's like, oh, maybe I want to do this, or maybe I actually want to work with this population instead of that one. You know, maybe I want to serve this need actually instead of that one. You know, so it may not be like a full on like career shift. That's not for everybody, but it could be something more nuanced like that. You know, so just be open to the different experiences, because again, you're going to be exposed to a lot of things are going to be going on around you. So just pay attention, and pay attention to how those experiences make you feel, because it's just very possible that what you thought you were going to do is actually not what you're going to do, and it's going to change. That's kind of how I feel. So I hope this resonates, pile one. I hope you guys have a great school year. Yeah, so again, thank you for joining me in this reading. Please, if you enjoyed this reading, like this video, or leave me a comment, or go ahead and subscribe to the channel. I would really, really love to hear from you guys. But again, thank you so much for joining me in this reading, and I will see you in the next one. Hi, pile two, and welcome to your reading. So again, for today's reading, we're going to get into what the school year is going to look like for you, some of the potential things that you're going to encounter, maybe some challenges, and we'll see what advice Spirit has for you moving forward through this year as you go through. So what is going to be like kind of the theme, overall arching energy for this year? Justice. Okay, already I feel like someone is coming for their revenge this year. I don't know what that means just yet. Take that as it resonates, but some of you are coming for your revenge. That would like just came to me very strongly. So okay, you know, I get the sense that some things for you, like we're gonna see some shifts in energy. So like if you were once on the bottom, you might find yourself on top. If you were having issues and problems with some people last year, I get the feeling that this year you're gonna have the last laugh. Interesting. I kind of feel like this has to do with like people, but we will see what happens as I start to pull more cards. So, all right. So, Spirit, let's get into the energy of pile two's reading. Just want to shuffle. Oh, it's not a good one. Okay. So, all right. So, looking at this overarching energy, Spirit, what is gonna help pile number two this year? What do they have at their disposal to help them move through the year? Ooh. Ace of Cups. Okay. Definitely pointing again more towards like social relationships, emotional experiences. You know, I kind of feel like this is relating to like who you are as a person, and I feel like you're the kind of person who you can give like people like a lot of like grace. Like you're very patient, I feel like. Very just like aware of yourself in relation to other people. Forgiveness is also coming up for me too. So maybe like last year some stuff went down and you've had to like forgive people, but not necessarily like to their face, but you've just had to make peace, forgive, for your own benefit, for your own good. But I think like if some of you, if that's made you feel like I don't know, like maybe you're being too nice, or maybe you're being too like too forgiving, you know, too like maybe you should have acted up more as it pertains to whatever this like energy is to the other people. But I think however you handled the situation was perfectly fine. And even though it might seem like now that some of these traits that you have maybe like aren't always like serving you the best, I think it actually does, because like you're able to release yourself, you know, from certain people, certain energy, certain situation without having to like do too much, you know. So like you actually like, I feel like the things that about you that you feel are like not great traits, they actually are, and they have and they will serve you well, I think. Take that as it resonates. I'm still trying to figure out what I'm trying to say. I don't know, I just feel like you like look at these things about you, and like you make yourself feel bad for like maybe like not getting as angry as you should have, or not like telling someone off like how you should, like how you maybe think that you should have, you know. Or like I get the sense that you like the thing, like there are certain characteristics that you have that you kind of associate with like being negative in terms of how standing up for yourself to other people. Like maybe you think that like the ways that you are, you don't have enough like personal power to like stand up for yourself. I don't know why this is like coming out like this. It's very interesting, but I don't know. I just think like it's the things that you think that are like not great, like they actually are great, and they're actually going to be characteristics that are going to help you this year as you move through it, you know. So whatever negative feelings you have about yourself and like who you are, I feel like it's like the things that you think are bad are actually some of your greatest assets. That's interesting. Yeah, take that as it resonates, but that's how I feel. Okay, so what are some like a goal that pile 2 has this year? What is some like goals or a project they're going to be working on this year? What are they going to encounter this year? Oh. Okay, we have 8 of Cups. Interesting. Again, I feel like we're relating to people and like relationships and things, and I think one of the goals that you may have, it's different because it's not the same for all of you, but one of the goals I think that you have, it's kind of about like recognizing when relationships no longer serve a purpose. Something that's coming up for me for some of you is like maybe you're kind of stepping into this year without like the friends or the best friend that you had in the previous year. I don't know, I just feel like that's like a sense of like loss as it relates to your relationships or people in your life. Okay, this is just the energy. I feel like it's just starting to get heavier and heavier. Okay, I think like something I feel like something bad happened in the past with like your primary like relationships. So like this could be a friend, this could be a significant other, but something really bad happened last year that like I think like sucked the life out of you. And I feel like what you're trying to do this year is figure out like how to like cut off relationships that are no longer serving you. Don't involve yourself with people who are not like in your best interest, you know. Kind of getting a handle on your emotional experience is kind of how I feel. Maybe you struggle a little bit with like, you might struggle a little bit with like how you feel like about yourself. Again, I feel like something happened in the past that like kind of knocked you down a few pegs. And you're really trying to come back to a place of like personal empowerment you know, but I do think it's possible for that to happen for you. But yeah, I don't know. I just feel like you are or have felt like betrayed or like let down by people in your life. And I think what you're trying to do now is figure out how to move forward with like yourself at the top of the priority list, and like really putting yourself first. And again, trying to learn how to recognize like how to be in relationship with people without them like taking advantage of you or lying to you or like not treating you the way that they should have treated you, you know. And also too, just like again, getting in touch with those like things about yourself that you don't like. And because I feel like those actually aren't real reasons not to like yourself. But I feel like either the people around you or something happened that like kind of brought out like that stuff and just made you feel even worse about it, you know? But I don't know. Let's keep going. What does pile 2 need to heal and release for this year? Oh, we are really going with the cups energy. Okay. So we have 6 of cups. This is interesting. I think what you need to release is like the hope, if you have this hope, or like that the other person or the other people in this like situation or relationship are like gonna change, and like you guys are gonna come back together. So again, I feel like loss of like friends, loss of a significant other may have happened previously or before this year started or school year started, and I think like at this point you might feel like it's in your best interest for these people to come back into your life, but I don't think so. I think that you're probably still in somewhat of a grieving process, probably still kind of, or like say, you know, you had this bad experience with people last year, you haven't seen them in a while, and now you're going back to school, you're going to be seeing people again, you know, you're going to be back in this like environment or back in these situations that are going to trigger up these feelings or trigger up, you know, this like emotional distress. And I just think that like those situations are no longer serving you. They're not, you know, like helping you move forward. I don't think these are relationships that are like worth bringing with you as you move forward in life. And I think if anything, they're only gonna like help keep you down instead of like raising you up. So if you, I feel like we are talking about a loss of friendship, loss of like a significant other, not necessarily like death, but like just like them leaving your life. And I feel like it was for a pretty like emotionally traumatic reason. Even for some of you, this is coming up very specific. This is obviously not for all of you, but for some of you, I feel like some of you, like your best friend like cheated on, like cheated with your boyfriend, like type of thing, or girlfriend or whatever. Yeah, I'm just getting like a little bit of cheater energy and like betrayal. So like maybe your significant other like cheated on you, and you're gonna have to like see them and like the person they cheated with, you know, constantly. Or like maybe your best friend like betrayed you, or like I don't know, whatever. If anything like in that realm of possibility is hitting for you, and you're still kind of thinking like, oh, maybe we can work things out, maybe no, you don't want to work things out with them. It's time to let them go. Let them go. Let that situation go. It's not serving you anymore. It's only going to keep you in a position to feel like unhealed and feel bad. So I know it's like hard, and it's probably going to be a little bit tough at the beginning, but I think you're going to get like poetic justice. Like, it's all going to work out for you in the end, but you got to let those people go. Okay, but so then if they're going to let them go, what should pile number 2 focus on? What should be the focus for this year? What can they focus on this year that will serve them best? Oh, the Fool came out as I was acting crazy. So again, as relating to this like energy we've already kind of read, I feel like the focus should be on the future, not the past. So like moving towards, you know, a brighter, better future, taking what you like learn from those situations, look at what did that like failure in relationship or failure in friendship teach you? What did it teach you about other people? What did it teach you about yourself? What did it teach you about like what you actually need and like what you actually want from the people in your life, you know? Because I think these situations definitely served a purpose, right? They served a purpose for your personal empowerment. And like, but what is that? I think that's the part of the situation that you need to get in touch with, you know? What was the lesson of that experience, and how can you use those lessons to move forward into an even brighter future, you know, with even better people, you know? Because the old people, the old situation, the old mess, this whole drama that happened before, you don't need to carry that with you moving into the next year. You can carry like the lessons with you, but don't carry the brunt of the emotional experience with you anymore, because if these people are no longer in your life, you are much better off, trust me. Like, I've kind of low-key been feeling disgusted since I started pulling these cards, and I don't know if you can tell my energy is kind of getting a little bit annoyed, because I'm just actually just like very disgusted by that whole entire situation. And if I am, you definitely are. So it definitely sucks, whatever you went through, whatever these people like did and like played a part in to get you to this like place. But like, screw them, they suck, you're amazing, so focus on that, you know? I'm sorry, I just feel like so grossed out. Like, whatever this person did or these people did to you, it's just like disgusting. And I'm just feeling very grossed out right now. Ugh, that's how, I can't even like say anything else other than ugh. Like, no, that's disgusting. Disgusting people. I'm sorry especially for if I was right and it really is about best friend, significant other cheating, they are disgusting. Okay, they are so disgusting. And remember, like, the way they behaved is on them, it's not on you. But what you can do, as much as it sucks, you can look at the situation, look at what there was to learn, you know, really get in touch with those lessons and take those lessons with you, and you move forward and you don't look back. Do not look back. No, you can't look back. These people are done. They have overstayed their welcome in your life. It's time to let them go. Yeah. Ugh, disgusting. Okay. But anyways, what are the upcoming energies that you're going to encounter this year? What's something new, or what's upcoming that pile 2 is going to encounter, spirit, as the year moves forward? We have 7 of Wands. So for me, I'm feeling this as you're going to have an opportunity again. Go through, reflect, look and see like what's happened, get in touch with the lesson. But then when you do that, I think you're gonna find that like renewed sense of like personal power, you know, and you're gonna like when you finally, because I don't think that you have fully made peace with all of this stuff yet, like, which is perfectly reasonable. Whatever they were on was like some trash, disgusting behavior, and these people meant a lot to you. So it makes sense why you would still be feeling like emotionally affected. But I think what's gonna happen when you have like the opportunity to like continue to process through, like learn the lessons, like figure, like healing from the situation, it's gonna lead you into like a much like brighter tomorrow. But the energy that is coming in for me, I feel like is like just you're gonna have the opportunity to see like exactly why it was for the best that these people are no longer in your life, or like these situations happened, like whether for better or worse, it was for the best. And I feel like that's not something that you know right now, but that's an energy that's going to be coming in. So just hang in there, like take care of yourself, practice self-care as you're going through all this, but eventually you're going to see that whatever happened is for the best. for sure. Like, you're gonna see something in the real world. It's not gonna be just like only like in your head. Like, you're gonna see it, you'll see. It'll all make sense. That's how I feel. Like, it'll all make sense. Okay. What spirit is, these cards are just all over the place today. What is a potential like block or a potential challenge that pile 2 could encounter this year? What is the potential? 6 of Pentacles. Again, with this like justice, balance type of energy. I feel like the challenge is gonna be like feeling like, or not feeling, but like trying to make something work that's no longer meant to work, you know? Or like engaging in relationships with people who they're not giving you like what you're giving them. Like, pay attention to the situations that could come up where it's like you're putting in this but you're only getting this, like, you know what I mean? Like the situations where the scales are not balanced. These like, and this could be people, this could be like academics, like I don't know, I feel like it has to do with people just because like with the majority of what we talked about so far. But I think the challenge could be you like engaging in relationships still, you know, that are not like 50-50, you know? So if you were in like a toxic relationship before and maybe you were giving that person a whole bunch and they weren't giving you too much back, it could be a challenge for you to fall back into that kind of pattern. So you could date someone new, but then it could be like that same type of situation where it's like, I'm giving all of this and I'm only getting this. I feel like that's what you 100% need to try to avoid this year. So really pay attention to kind of the people that you encounter and like how you're feeling the relationships are balanced or the situations are balanced, you know? Like, it shouldn't be like, oh, I always call them but they never call me, or I'm always texting them but they never text me, or I'm always asking them to hang out but they don't ever ask me to hang out, you know? I think that it could be easy for you to kind of fall back into these types of relationships or fall back into these types of situations. And I mean, I'm not saying that you need, like, don't blame yourself if you find that, like, that ends up being your situation at some point, because it's not about, like, whether or not you're going to encounter it. It's about, like, recognizing it and then deciding what to do about it when it does happen. So, because obviously, like, we only know about people what they want to show us, right? So I'm not going to say, like, it's your fault if, like, you start being friends with someone and then, like, maybe a month or something down the line, you kind of see, like, oh, like, the relationship's, like, not 50-50. You know, they don't pour into me as much as I pour into them type of thing. It's not about, like, you needing to know that from jump. It's about if that does come up, and when that does come brought into your awareness, what do you then do about it? And I feel like you need to be working on making the decision to engage in relationships where you get just what you put in, you know, or you're getting back like the energy you're putting into it. There should not be an imbalance of like energy. Okay, and there should not be an unequal give and take. This is about you getting in touch with like what you need and being able to advocate for what you need in relationships, you know, or in situations, period. So really pay attention to the situations that come up to where it feels like the energy between you and the other person or you and the other thing are not balanced, because those are the things that you need to avoid, I feel like, this year. Definitely those are things that you need to avoid. So again, like, don't blame yourself if it shows up, because it can show up for anybody at any time, but it's about recognizing it, and then when you do, okay, then what do I need to do about it type of thing. So yeah, and for some of you, it's gonna be like that ex or that friend like trying to come back and like be friends again. I'm not saying don't give them a chance. People definitely can change. It's very possible. So you can give them a chance, but if you start to notice that it's exactly how it was before, then you need to drop them. Yeah. I mean, again, that's kind of what we talked about, but just, if they come back, it's, hey, we can give them a chance. We can see what's up. But when they start, if they start engaging in that same behavior, or if they start being shady, or if they start, you know, just like not being the type of person that you need, then it's time to cut them off. So just be aware of that. Okay, so what is something special that pile number 2 brings to the table this year in their experience, Spirit? What is like special talents, special skills, and abilities that they are going to bring into their own, or utilize in their own life with the world? So again, this is funny because I feel like this is referring to that like energy of discernment again, right? So like knowing when do things like no longer serve us? When is it time to move on? When is it time to actually fight for a relationship or fight for a connection? Like, you know what I mean? So if you don't already feel like you are in a good place to be able to discern now, I think that you will find yourself in that place. And you're going to be able to use it to your advantage. You know what I mean? So I kind of feel this as like a developing skill that is going to be developed this year. Really just like being able to discern between what is for you, what is not for you, what is serving you, what is not serving you. Because that is like gonna serve you well in situations moving forward. In your own life, like in no matter what, like self-advocation is one of the biggest like positive things we can do for ourselves, you know, and like you being able to know and decide when are things meant to continue and when are things meant to be done, you know. I feel like that is kind of something that you're going to really grow into this year if you're not already there. Some of you are pretty good at it already, which is why, you know, you're able to no longer be in contact with these people or that person or whatever. But for some of you, like it's still like pretty hard, you know. But I think what you'll learn is you'll start to see the benefit of it, because and that benefit could be like lack of stress, lack of anxiety, lack of, you know, whatever, because this person's not constantly coming in and shaking up your emotional table all the time. You know, you're going to be able to live a different kind of life, and you'll be able to see the benefits of engaging with people who are meant for you and like cutting people off who are not. So just keep that in mind. This is really going to be like a really big year for you in terms of, I think, your personal empowerment and how like you're able to manage how you function in relationships, and you're going to have a lot more control and say so in how things go down, I feel like. Because I think in the past you might have felt like, oh, it's just kind of like whatever happens, you know, and like you just kind of have to deal with however people treat you or however, you know, situations go based on how other people decide. But you're going to have the chance to decide, and you're going to have the chance to tell someone, hey, I don't like how you treat me. I don't want you in my life. And then they're going to be like, what? I didn't even know that, like they're going to be so caught off guard that you're in a position to stand up for yourself, for some of you. Because again, you see yourself as like maybe not as like strong as you want to, but that's also just probably a factor of the situation right now. Like these people, like I said, again, took a lot out of you. So you're just feeling like not great. And I think it's perfectly okay to not feel great, you know, but just look into it, process, look and see, make it about you again. You know, what were you meant to learn? What was the situation meant to teach you? You know, yeah, it's how did all this happen to serve your personal empowerment at the end of the day? Yeah, that's how I feel. So take that as it resonates. But okay, any last advice, Spirit? What is the last piece of advice that we have for pile 2? Oh. And we have 2 of Swords. So yeah, I kind of feel like this is referring to you holding firm in what you know type of situation. So like, don't allow other people's, whatever their BS excuses are for whatever this, and this, like to distract you from like the truth of the situation and how it makes you feel. Like, when you see that red flag, like wave that red flag and wave it high, you know, like don't allow the other person to come in and make an excuse for why you shouldn't actually feel that way, or why, oh, it wasn't actually like that because of this. Like, don't even give people the opportunity to BS you, you know, or like, you know, like be able to recognize their BS, because I think that may be, again, some of the things that happened in the past. Like maybe you had like an inkling that something was off before, but the other person like gaslit you, you know, and this could be like, again, significant other or friends. Like, don't allow people to gaslight you because you felt how you felt and you thought what you thought for a specific reason. And someone else can try to come in and like misshape it, turn it, try to, you know, manipulate the situation. But no. Like, stay and hold firm in how you felt and like what you thought, because those are important things. Though it's important because why, like if it wasn't off, like why would you feel off, type of thing. Like just trust your own intuition, because you can really utilize your intuition to discern, you know, use that in terms of your discernment. So what if the only reason you have for cutting someone off is, oh, this doesn't feel right? That's all you need. That's literally all you need. You know what I mean? You don't even need to like be searching for like physical evidence or like a real reason other than it doesn't feel right, you know, to cut people off, or, you know, again, I really do feel like this card is just about giving yourself enough credit for knowing that things aren't right, or for knowing that, or holding firm in your own opinion. You know, give yourself credit. You know, it's going to help you feel like, it's going to help you feel good about yourself, because you're not going to allow people to sway you just because of whatever they're trying to come up with, or however they're trying to gaslight you. Like, you thought what you thought and you felt what you felt for a reason. So don't let other people unreasonably take you away from that. Now, I mean, of course, there are going to be some times where like maybe you thought something and the other person can logically explain it. That is totally fine. But you know when things don't feel right, and you know when someone's BSing you. You just maybe haven't been like the best at like confronting it in the past. But no, I think Spirit is telling you it's time to confront, okay? Like, it's time to put yourself first. It's time to hold firm in how you feel, in your own beliefs, and, you know, start to move towards like your own personal empowerment, because I believe that that's what the justice is at the end of the day. You being able to be the kind of person who can make decisions just solely based on how you feel and how you think. And that's it, you know? Not being able to be easily influenced by the opinions or lies or manipulation of other people. This is really about you getting in touch with like holding your own beliefs and your own thought processes like in high regard, in my opinion. But okay, thank you again, pile number 2, for joining me in this reading today. I really enjoyed reading these cards for you. If this reading did resonate with you, please go ahead and like this video, or leave me a comment and let me know how it resonated. I would love to hear from you guys and hear about your life experiences and your stories. And then if you enjoyed this reading again, maybe consider subscribing to the channel so that you can catch readings in the future. But thank you again for joining me in this reading, guys, and I will see you in the next one. Hello, pile number 3, and welcome to your reading. So again, we're going to get into the reading of, the energy of your like school year this year. Kind of think about some of the things that you have to look forward to, and what are maybe some challenges that are going to come up. And we'll see also what Spirit wants you to focus on this year, and any advice that they have for you moving forward. So let's go ahead and get into it. What is going to be the theme for this year for you? Strength. Okay. I actually don't want to speculate too much about this card. Let's get into the other cards, and then I will kind of start to figure out what's going on. But okay, strength. Okay. All right, Spirit. So what does pile 3, what is going to help them through this year? What will help them as they navigate this school year? Ooh. The Star. Okay, interesting. So this is interesting. For this pile, I feel like this could be the year that like you really start to have like some dreams come true type of energy. I feel like it's one of those things where it's like I feel like it might be a little bit of a tough year for you, but tough in the sense that like you have like a lot going on, there's a lot of commitments, you have a lot to do, but it's all in the greater sense and greater purpose of taking you to a future where you actually like achieve your dreams and you achieve like what you want most out of this world. So like I don't necessarily know just yet if like your dreams are going to be achieved this year, but I do think that if not the dream itself, it's you're going to go through certain parts of the process that lead you to your eventual dream. So for some of you, it could be something along the lines of like, maybe this is kind of coming up, maybe you have a desire to like go like really far athletically, like to maybe becoming pro at something athletically. I don't know, athletics is really coming up for me in this spread. So maybe, yeah, like you have dreams to like, to go pro, to play for a team or like a real like big team in your sport, or, you know, maybe play like internationally or something. I think you're starting out this year and you have a goal, you have a vision. Like I think you're very firm in like what you see for yourself. You definitely see it, and I think like that's the thing that's going to help you move through the challenges of this year. And again, challenging in the sense of there's a lot to do, there's a lot to accomplish, you're going to be pretty busy. I feel like you're going to have a pretty busy year. But what's going to help you is maintaining that vision, maintaining that focus on what it is that you want. And like that's what's going to get you through the days that might be a little bit harder. That's going to get you through the times that might be a little bit tougher, when you have a lot going on, when you're really just running from here to there to there to there to there. Like when you have like, I don't know, I just get the feeling that you're going to just have a really packed schedule. But it's all in service of where you want to be one day, you know? And so what's going to help you is maintaining that vision, maintaining the vision of what you want, maintaining the vision of what you see for yourself. And I do get the sense that there is some pressure on this. So not just athletically is coming up for me, but also like finances are coming up for me. So maybe you have the desire to like really make a lot of money one day, or be really successful in a certain career, you know, that pays a lot. But again, it's going to take a lot to get there. There's a lot to do. There's a lot to process, you know, like med school, law school type of stuff, you know, or just like any type of school that's like really rigorous, I feel like, is what you're going through this year. Really tough, really rigorous, a lot of work, but you have to hold on to the vision, and holding on to the vision is what's going to help push you forward and move you forward, and keep you going as you know, kind of go through all of this. So yeah, definitely like hold the vision, because that's what you're gonna need, or that's what's gonna help you move through all this. So, and help you keep going even in those tough days. But okay, let's see, what is the goal, or what's the goal? A goal that pile 3 has for this year. What is a goal, whether they know it or not? What is a goal for this year? Page of Cups. That's interesting. I think you're kind of, one of the goals is to like, maybe not be so stressed, you know, or kind of like finding a good like balance in like relaxing energy and also productive energy. I feel like you kind of maybe want to have more fun this year, maybe because you've been like pursuing this like rigorous school or this like path that has a lot of obligations to it. It's kind of like kept you from being able to have as much fun as you want to let loose as you want to, like be able to relax as much as you want to. So I feel like a goal for you could be to like, while yes, it's good to, engage in this journey because, you have a dream and you want to achieve it, and that's great. But I think it's also important to you to kind of figure out, okay, how can I still set aside time for me? How can I still like take care of myself? How can I still, I don't know, just how can you like work hard but also play too? Like, I just think you're looking for balance. You're looking for to not let like what you're trying to accomplish like overtake your whole entire life. And I think that because maybe that is something you've experienced before. I mean, it makes sense if you've been on like a pretty rigorous path for a while. So I feel like a goal for you this year that I think is able to be achieved, is to figure out that balance between like work and like life and school and all of that, making time for yourself, taking time to take care of yourself as you go through this journey. So I think that's how I feel about that. But okay, so what do you need to release as you move through this year? What's something that pile 3 can release as they move through this school year? What would be beneficial for them to heal and release, Spirit? Oh, we have the King of Swords. So for me, I'm kind of feeling like you're obviously a very ambitious person. You obviously like have a lot of goals and like a lot of things that you want to do, and you have like a lot of hats that you have to wear. And I feel like you're pretty good at that. But I think what it is that you need to release is like, if there are certain parts of your life that it's like not 100% necessary to do this, but like you're still doing it because maybe you want to like look good to other people, or you want it to look good on, or it's still like good to have this on your resume type of thing, or maybe it's like you might, I'm not saying control issues, but you might just like kind of be the person, you like to be the leader, you like to be the one in charge, the one who has the power, so maybe like you're the head of like a lot of different organizations, or maybe, you're constantly finding yourself in positions of leadership over other people, or you're putting yourself in positions of leadership of other people. And again, why that is all well and good, you also want to make time for self, right? Make time for care, make time for, relaxation. And I think what you're going to have to do is figure out like, okay, what actually do I need on my plate, and what am I putting on there like just because like it's going to look great on my resume type of thing, because you could still be in that organization, but you don't have to be like the president, like you can still engage in this type of like thing, but you don't have to lead it. You can still be a part of this one team, but you don't have to run it. You know what I mean? Like, and again, I know that's like part of your personality. Obviously, you have big dreams, you have big goals. So it makes sense that you would be the kind of person who finds himself in leadership or running things all the time or engaged in a lot of activities. But I think what's going to serve you best is figuring out, like, do I really need to be doing this? Like, ask yourself that question. Like, is this something that I really need to do? Like, type of thing. Like, do I really need to, is it really going to help me that much to really be doing this? Or to, like, maybe, like work, like, smarter, not harder type of energy, I feel like, take that as it resonates. I don't want to like try to speculate too much about what's going on, because again, this is like a general reading. But if you're that like type A, like go-getter, like type of energy, type of person, that is a really good thing. But I just think like it's possible that you can look at it from the angle of, okay, how am I kind of standing in my own way when it comes to other things? So again, like, do you really need to be the leader of that? Like, do you really need to be running this? Like, do you really need to put all this like stuff on your plate type of thing? You know, because I think right now you think you do, but I would encourage you to think about it again, because I don't know if you actually do. You know, I don't know if it's actually like necessary. I feel like if there are certain things that like you don't, like, you're very concerned about getting here to your dreams, to your goals, and I definitely think that you're on the path to doing that, but I think that you might be putting too much on your plate than you need to. And again, this is just some reading on the internet. Like, you don't have to make any real life, real world like decisions or choices based on anything I'm saying right now. But when you find yourself in those moments where you got a lot on your plate, there's a lot to do, you have all these obligations, I want you to sit back and think, if you're really stressed out about it, like, what of all these things I have going on could I live without? Because I think that you might be, you just might like take on more than you need to. And so if there are some commitments or things that you're committed to right now that you could kind of, if you notice that it's kind of like too much, I think it might be okay to like step down, you know, or let the vice president handle it, you know, from time to time, you know, or just like relieve yourself of the obligations you've put on yourself from time to time. That's what I think. Because I think you're really worried about like not doing these things because you feel like it's not going to help you, or you're not going to be able to get to where you want to go because you don't do this thing or something. But I don't really think that's a real like concern. I think you can still get to where you want without like having 1,000 things on your resume, you know. So just take that as it resonates. But I think you might be like putting a little too much on your plate, just a little bit. Let's see. Okay. What should pile 3 be focusing on this year, Spirit? What is something that they should focus on as they move forward throughout the year? We have the Tower. So your life is very chaotic. You have a lot of things going on, or it's going to be very chaotic this year because, again, you're working towards a big dream, big goal. So you're going to have a lot of things to do. There's a lot of commitments. There's a lot of chaos, a lot of chaotic nature. And while I don't think that you should be focused on controlling everything, because it's a lot, you're not going to be able to control every single piece of the puzzle. I think what you need to be focused on is trying to manage it the best that you can, but managing it where you, in a way that you don't have to like sacrifice yourself all the time. So what I feel like is kind of like, if you're the kind of person who's like, oh, like, okay, well, I'm not gonna eat lunch because I need to study through lunch, you know, or I have like practice at this time, so I need to get my homework done like at this time, but that's only gonna leave me like a couple hours to sleep. Like, I'm just getting like just a lot of things to look at logistically when it comes to your schedule, because you've just got so much going on this year. And yeah, it's just gonna be a crazy year. Like, you're gonna have like, there's so much, oh my gosh, there's gonna be so much like most days and every single day, you know. And I think what you need to focus on is like managing your self-care as you move through this year, because you have big dreams, you have big goals, you have a lot to accomplish, and I definitely think that you're the kind of person who can be dedicated to that, you know. But I do think that it's possible for you to like lose yourself in all of this if you're not careful, you know. So you need to really be focused on like making sure you're getting enough sleep, making sure you're eating enough, you know, making sure that you make time to exercise if you're not already like exercising every single day because of like you're an athlete, because some of you are athletes. But also making time for like your mental health, you know, making sure that you have a good like support group around you. Make sure that you're still like seeing your friends, you're still having a good time, even though, you know, you're gonna have so much going on. Coming back to that, like making time for yourself and you know, incorporating more self-care into your schedule. That's how I feel about this card. It's like you're gonna have so much going on all the time. What you need to focus on is making sure that you're taking care of yourself as you're going through this crazy schedule, this crazy journey. Because like you don't want to run yourself ragged to the point where you're not able to enjoy any of the success that you have or that you're going to create, because you're working yourself so hard that you're too tired to even, you know, even like fully be present, you know? Like there is such thing as like working a little too hard. I mean, there is. And that's not what you need to be doing this year. You just need to like obviously work hard, but work to the extent that it's not a detriment to yourself. When you start like not eating meals and not getting enough sleep like consistently, I mean, every now and then you might miss a lunch. You might like have to sleep a little bit less one night or something. But those things should never be constants, you know, in your life. So if you get to the point where they start feeling like they're constant things, then we need to like take a step back, have a reality check, maybe look at the plate, see if there's anything that you can let go of, because you need to be at your best in order to achieve what you want, you know? So, and you can't be at your best if you're neglecting your self-care because you have other things to do. You know, you can't pour from an empty cup, okay? So just like be mindful of that as you kind of move forward. Because I think you're such a hard worker, and so that means that you have the potential to not take care of yourself because you want to work so hard and you want to, you know, like look good to people around you and stuff. No one's gonna blame you for needing to, leave the meeting early or leave the organization early so that you can go to sleep on time, you know, or like pause, like you can study like a little bit later, make sure you go have lunch, you know, like don't skip meals, don't make that like your norm. It might happen every now and then, but don't make that the norm. Yeah, focus on yourself. Self-care is really coming through the most for me. Okay, and so what's some upcoming energy that's gonna come up for you this year? Pile 3. What something spirit is gonna come up for pile 3 this year? What energy are they gonna be stepping into? We have the Fool. Dog, stop it. My apologies. But anyway, so with the Fool, I just kind of feel like if you're like waiting for like a specific type of offer at some point this year, so that could be like maybe like a job or like internship, or like offer to like go play for like some other type of team, you know, or something like an offer or something that you would be looking forward to already. So I feel like for some of you, you're already kind of expecting something out of this year, and like that's why you're going to be trying to work so hard, is because it's in service of whatever this like accomplishment is. I'm not saying that it's like the dream, but like a necessary step to the dream. That energy, that situation is definitely going to like be showing itself this year. But I'm feeling ambiguous about like if you will like get the job or like get the position or like get the the whatever it is that you want. If you don't know what it is yet, like pay attention over the next couple of weeks, months about an opportunity that's going to come up that you like really, really want really bad. But I feel like it's like you are going to be the deciding factor about like how that goes, depending on I feel like your self-care, because I feel like if you run yourself ragged and like you don't take care of yourself as the years going by, when this opportunity does come to you, I don't know if you're going to be in the best position to like receive it and go for it, because like you're going to be so tired, you know, and you're going to be so like exhausted. And so you may not show up in that position in the best way or the way that you could, because of how ragged you're going to run yourself. So that's why the focus should be on self-care, so that you can have enough juice in the tank to take on this opportunity or whatever it is that's coming up, like the way that you should or the way that you're able to. Because I really get the sense that there are two different paths here. There's a path where you're in the best place for it, you can snatch it up and it's going to happen. Or, I mean, you might still get it, but it just might not go as well as it could, because you're not doing well, like personally and mentally and emotionally, because you're not taking care of yourself. So it's kind of like up to you how that's going to go. It's in your best interest to take care of yourself. That's all I'm trying to say. But let's move on. So what is a challenge that pile 3 may encounter this year, Spirit? What is a challenge that pile 3 may encounter this school year? Oh, okay. I don't trust that. We have Knight of Pentacles. Okay. I think the challenge, I feel like we're coming back to this, like, what are you engaging in? Don't overfill your plate. You have such the potential to do way more than like you need to. So again, while it might look good to have this, and this on your resume, is that really like how you're gonna serve yourself the best? Because guess what? Like the universe will put into our path whatever it is that we are meant to achieve and go through. So like whatever is meant for you is coming to you regardless, you know, and you already are a hard worker. How much more do you need to prove that, is like kind of how I feel. Yeah, the challenge is you not putting too much on yourself, you know, not like doing way too much. Like and I'm not saying it's bad to like, you know, be a go-getter and to be type A and to have all these things going on. That's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying that you need to be very mindful about what is just enough and what is too much, because there's really a potential for there to be too much. And one of your goals this year is to make time for you, to make time for self-care, to not be as busy and crazy tired as you have been like in the past, you know? And so in order to do that, you're going to have to make adjustments. It's not going to be, oh, I do the same amount of things and then I'm going to figure out how to relax. No, like something has not worked, you know, about what you've been doing in the past. So it's time to look at your situation and look and figure out, what do I actually need to engage in and what is actually like not helpful for me, you know? So it's really, really important that you think about that, you know, that's important. Because really, like, you're either going to make yourself have like the just amount of right amount of things to do, or there's going to be like, you know, more, or not more, but there's going to be too much on your plate. So you're really gonna have to get good at deciding or figuring out like, oh, do I really need to be a part of this? Do I really need to be engaging in this? Like, do I really need to do that? Like, you're gonna have to really pay attention to that stuff, because it could really get in the way of how you're able to take care of yourself. But okay, and then what is like a special talent or a special ability that pile 3 brings to the table this year in their own experience, Spirit? What is something special that pile 3 is going to bring? Ooh. You have 4 of Cups. So you are really able, like, you paying attention to like your feelings and like how things are making, like what do you feel when you like do one thing versus another, I think. Because again, you're the kind of person who's going to want to do a lot, and it's just kind of like, okay, but maybe pay attention to like what really like speaks to you, what really like gets you going, you know, what really like gets you out of the bed, like type of energy. So like there's something like, you know, when you wake up and you have a lot of things to do, you can either be like really excited about what you have going on for the day, or it can just be like, oh, I have all these things to do and I'm just so tired, like type of thing. So I feel like what you need to pay attention to are what are the things that like give you that excited energy versus that, oh, okay, this is another thing I'm gonna have to do, because that can kind of help you, I think, like figure that other stuff out a little bit more and not add too much to your plate. You really are like an emotional person, as far as you're able to really get a lot like emotionally from like your endeavors. And so the things that you notice that are not like sparking you emotionally, those are the things where I think you can kind of let those go, or like that can be one of the things where it's like, okay, I don't really need to do that. You know, if it's not like stirring up like an emotional like excitement, happiness, you know, or passion in you, then I think that you can use that knowledge to help figure out like, okay, do I really need to be doing this type of thing? Don't do things just to do them. Do things that you're excited about, that you want to do, that like bring you joy, you know. Come back to the joy. Just pay attention to how these like things make you feel, because that's how you can help like discern from what you need to be doing versus what you are just kind of doing to pad your resume type of thing. So really like get in touch emotionally with how certain things make you feel. And if it feels good and it feels like you really want to do it, great, that's awesome. But if it feels like an obligation, then that's probably not something that you need to be engaging in. So just think about it. Okay, and then what lastly, Spirit, any last piece of advice that you have for pile 3 as they go through the year? What do they need to know? Just any last minute advice. The Empress. So yep, you need to nurture yourself. Self-care. The biggest thing for you this year is going to be making sure that you're taking care of yourself. And so but I think you need to like get serious about that. So like, I don't know if you need to set reminders on your phone to like, hey, I need to check in with myself and see how I'm doing. You know, maybe you need to get connected with like resources around you to kind of help you through like the year, you know, or utilize the resources that you have, you know. So say like there's a stress management workshop that you could attend or something, or like maybe just like making sure that you're going out with people and like releasing stress, you know. Like you need to be very on about your self-care, because again, this is going to be a big year. You're going to have a lot to do. There's going to be a lot to accomplish, a lot to achieve. So you really need to be on it about self-care, self-nurturing, taking care of who you are, you know, taking care of your needs, and don't let them go to the wayside. It's kind of like what I feel like Spirit is saying, like you can do all things that you want to do and achieve, and you can achieve your dreams, and you can still take care of yourself. Honestly, taking care of yourself is going to move you into a much better position to receive all the blessings that are coming your way than not doing so, you know. So just see, like, if you had a really tough year last year because of all the things you had on your plate, and this year is kind of going to be more of the same, think about the adjustments that you are able to make in service of yourself and in service of your self-care. You know, so like, what can you do to like get to bed at the same time every night? What can you do to make sure that you're eating 3 meals a day, you know, or however much that you need to eat? You know, what can you do to make sure that you're taking care of your mental health as you're dealing with all this stress all the time? You know, really take your self-care seriously. That's like really been a predominant theme throughout this whole reading. It's really, really important. So, but thank you guys so much for joining me in this reading. I really enjoyed reading these cards for you. I hope you guys have a great school year and everything turns out great for you. Just remember, take care of yourself. If you like this video and this reading resonated with you, please go ahead and like the video, or maybe leave me a comment and let me know how it resonated. You're also able to subscribe to the channel if you want to, so that you can catch readings with me in the future. But thank you guys again for watching, and I will see you guys in the next reading.